Okay, so let's continue here. At lunch I came home and started to try and loosen up these cylinder screws, and started to get a little stressed out because they were tight as hell. I mean, really tight. And I felt like I was starting to round one of the screws out. So I went and I heated them up, and that didn't help much at all. But what I ended up having to do was strike them, do a mechanical shock. I'll show it this way. Mechanical shock with one of my punches. 2 or 3 wraps with that, and they loosened up nicely then. So with that being said, now I can, let's see, this is left cylinder. Okay, I can start continue removing these things now. That was a bit gnarly. The last gnarly thing that's going to happen with the disassembly of this engine now is, because it has an offset dual throw crankshaft, it also has connecting rods that are 2-piece that are screwed together, and it's those screws on the connecting rod that's going to be really freaking interesting to try and get off. So here we go, we're freeing up, and look at that guy. I suppose I can zoom in just a hair more. You can see how little runtime this thing looks like it has. Let me put this cylinder in here with the screws. I don't know that I necessarily need to put that in the cleaner because it looks perfect. So the next thing is this connecting rod, or that going to want to come out. It doesn't look like it's going to want to, but maybe that's not a big deal. So I don't see the screw heads on this side, so I'm going to have to access the screw heads for this one from the other side, it looks like. So it just gets more and more interesting here. There we have, looks like both pistons have about equal amount of runtime on them. So I guess I'm confused as to how the hell I'm supposed to get at these. I have to take these pistons off, unfortunately, so somehow I'm going to have to get those out. Okay, so I just used a servo screw and just kind of screwed it in to the other one there by hand, and then just come on now, go in there. Just pull those little plugs out. They're just little plastic plugs. I'm still going to have to heat this thing up. Tap those piston pins out. Keep making sure I've got this in the right orientation. So I'm going to go heat this thing up. Find some soft foam to cradle this under, and maybe start tapping it out with a punch or my center punch. Okay, so I successfully did the other one. What I've got is a piece of foam here and my heat resistant glove. And boy, that fricker is hot. And I'm just going to stick this punch right in there so it's not doing any damage. Punch that baby out. Oh baby, that's warm. And there's our piston and wrist pin. Oh god damn, those things are hot. Okie dokie. Let's put these in here. Oh, son of a gun. Now let's see if this gets me any closer to Getting out a screw. Okay, so here, this is gonna suck. Here's a screw head, and here's a screw head, and I guess that's how I'm gonna have to try and get in there and frickin' take those out. Let me make sure I find the right damn size. Oh shit, that's small. That's a 1.5 millimeter. Oh baby, that's tiny. Okay, so this is gonna be, oh shit. This is not gonna be enjoyable at all. I'm gonna go and heat this thing up a lot and hope to hell I can break that loose. Penetrating oil on it. Whew, wish me luck with this. Okay, let's see if I can finish this up here. This was nerve-wracking as hell. What I ended up doing was I put this entire assembly in my ultrasonic cleaner for 8 minutes just to help loosen things up. And as you can see, things are drying out here. I haven't put oil on them because I had to go cook dinner. But I had several 1.5 millimeter wrenches, but they didn't really fit in there properly. Luckily, I still had one from my RC car days that was a much higher quality. And off camera, I broke these screws loose. But what I need to do now is okay, so this is the left. I need to make sure I take this one off and it goes in this bin here so I keep these connecting rods straight. So these are already loose. Should come right out. I think the real challenge is going to be putting these damn things back together. It's hard enough to try and get in here and take them off. I'm not sure how I'm going to facilitate putting these things back on. Okay, you can drop off there now. Okay. Okay, so that, I'm going to put these things kind of back together here, real lightly. Like I said, I think this is going to be incredibly challenging to do. Reassemble this thing. Hopefully my buddy, who's done numerous of these engines, can chime in and help me out. So as you can see, this has got kind of a bronze colored connecting rod. Let's see here, this was the one from carbs on this side, so this was this guy, the right cylinder. Just enough stickage there to hold those in place. Now I'm going to probably just oil the living crap out of these things, since they've already been in the ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, so next step, oil this thing all up, heat it up, tap this crankshaft out. After that, things should be fairly easy. The next most challenging thing is going to be trying to get that bearing out, which apparently I'm going to have to try and fabricate my own bearing puller by grinding this screw head down enough so that I can get it down inside there, cut a lip on it so I can get up underneath it, and then I got to go to the hardware store and get some larger washers so I can try and draw it out like that and make a bearing puller. But I've never done that before either, so that's going to be an interesting task to say the least. So anyway, hopefully the next video will show a whole bunch of clean parts. So this engine is completely disassembled here. Here's the left cylinder parts, right cylinder parts. Not everything was put into the ultrasonic cleaner. I haven't done the pistons, push rods. I'll probably clean a lot of this stuff just by hand. The heads look beautiful. I mean, this was really, I think, a really low time engine that just kind of sat for too long without maybe properly being oiled because the condition of some of the parts in the back. This is the bin that's just got the individual parts. There's some screws.
What I really want to look at is this crankshaft, because this crankshaft is just cool as hell. I've never had a boxer style engine apart before, so this crankshaft I just think is kind of a marvel of engineering. Now those of you that work on full size engines, car engines and stuff like that, tear things apart completely, won't be as impressed with this as I am, but I just think that's kind of cool. So anyway, this engine is fully disassembled. The only thing that's left for me is I still have to make my little bearing puller and try and get this little bearing out here. You can hear it. And once that's done, we'll get this engine put back together. But I want to talk real quickly about Boca Bearings website and how crappy it is, because I looked up what I thought was the OS FT-122 engine. I don't remember exactly what they called it. They have these things, these engines, the 120 and the 160, listed in several different ways on their site. And I did something I shouldn't have done, which was I ordered parts or ordered bearings based on the Boca website and their measurements, or what they call out for, before actually having these out and measuring them. So I ended up ordering the wrong bearings. These two here are wrong. That I ordered because Boca's website is wrong. Had I known to just look at the 160T or the FT-160 engine, I would have got the right bearings. This big bearing is the one that goes back here, and this bearing goes here. Well, these two were wrong on their website, so now I've got 5 bearings on order and 2 of them are wrong. So a buddy of mine hopefully is going to be helping me out with some bearings so that I can at least get this engine back together here fairly soon. But it's probably going to be a week or 2 at least before you see this engine assembled, reassembled, and running. So that's where we stand with this engine. So thank you for watching.